Turn me up. Detroit already know what time it is. No soft tape. No fake love. Run the tape. Ball don't lie. Smooth operator, Cade calm with the handle. Fourth quarter cold, he light up the candle. City on 10 when he shift that angle. One wrong step, now the defense is shambles. Stop sign, saw red light on wings. Clamps too tight, he control everything. Number 9 lurking, no room for the swing. You thought you had space, now you stuck in the ring. Beef stew in the mud, bringing heat to the glass. Talk too light, better move with some class. Jalen Brunson at the rim, got the paint on tags. Come down that lane, better know where you at. Ryan Harlan hungry, young wolf with bite. Detroit don't race off, we race fight. Bad whistle blow, still standing upright. LCI shake when the boys get right. From the Coney to the group chat, everybody got a tag. From the cheap seats to the live stream, everybody wide awake. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. 3-1-3, better pick your side. No soft takes, no fake pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. When it's chaos, I'm on raw routes, first downs pay off. John Mia Gibbs, Sonic gone when he take off. Blink one time, now the whole roof came off. Hunch off the edge, that pocket get haunted. Quarterback nervous, now the drive getting stalled up. Buddy stayed well, Stonewall, nobody falling. Jama over top, hit a whole crowd calling. Curry in the back, bad throws get taken. Fourth field loud, whole city starts shaking. Fourth quarter pressure, everybody awakened. Detroit been patient, now the league gotta face it. We sat through the jokes, we sat through the pain. Still watercolor, still screamed in the rain. Now they wanna talk like they knew the name, but we was in the mud when they laughed at the game. Woodward lights, 94 traffic, still tuned in, still talking magic. Win or lose, we don't disappear. Detroit sports, we bleed in here. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. 3-1-3, better pick your side. No soft takes, no fake pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. Don't bring lazy takes in here. Don't bring fake debates in here. If you ain't what, don't speak in here. Detroit sports, we bleed in here. Smooth operator with the clock on ice. Stop sign waiting, better think twice. Beef stew banging that glass got price. Sonic hit the crease, going out of sight. Run the tape, say the name, say the name. Call the foul, check the game, check the game. If they cook, we gon' say it. If they sold, we gon' play it. If they 40, we gon' weigh it. Ball don't lie, we don't fake it. Detroit, basketball, Detroit. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. B13, better pick your side. No soft takes, no petty pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. This is ball don't lie, Detroit. Real thing, real talk. And this ain't Detroit.
You hear me now? There we go. All right. Back to the intro, man. This is 313 Sports Guru of Ball Don't Lie Detroit, where we speak the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Sorry for that technical difficulties. What a wild game. NBA Finals Game 2, Spurs and the Knicks. And your New York Knicks, New York Knickerbockers, take a 2-0 lead on the San Antonio Spurs. And who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? they're going back to New York, Madison Square Garden, back at home. Wild fans. At this point, everywhere's home for New York, man. Those fans are crazy and got a lot of money to spend. It seems like like they spent their whole life saving money for this. Um, and so they're going back to New York, feeling really good. You gotta believe that the Spurs are, went into the series feeling super confident. People were saying the NBA Finals were Spurs against OKC, and the Eastern Conference was the Leastern Conference. But man, what a turn of events. 2-0. Now, if you know anything about basketball, that doesn't mean that the Knicks won anything yet. My Pistons went up 2-0 against the Cavs. And it's history what happened after that. So, a lot of basketball to be played. But let's talk about this game right here. Yeah, courtside. By the way, welcome everyone to the show. If it's your first time, I know you're going to love it because, man, we talk real talk only, real takes. No bluffing, no sugarcoating anything, whether it's your team or mine. And if you would like to drop your take, drop it in the chat. Any questions? This is by the way, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm gonna tell you my perspective from a Detroit Pistons fan, as unbiased as I possibly can, but I can't promise me being unbiased. But yeah, courtside, it was a really, really close game. Knicks barely won, and honestly, probably shouldn't have won. They really didn't deserve it, but they've got a big old head hero on their team called Jalen Brunson that can be a zero the whole game, be a negative the whole game, but hit clutch shots down the stretch. Man, I don't know how he does it. I really don't know how he does it. I gotta give him his flowers. I don't like him because he's not on my team, but man, I bet the Knicks love Jalen Brunson. I think New York is going to be New Brunson soon. They're going to have a whole name change because he's the king of New York. And if they win this finals, not only will this probably go down as one of the best championships, or they don't have too many, but best championships in New York history, this will go down as one of the best finals runs in NBA history. They've won 13 games in a row, y'all. That's hard in the regular season. It's harder in the playoffs. And the Hawks went up 2-1 against the Knicks. If the Knicks would have woke up early, they could have been sweeping the playoffs right now. Now, do I think that they're gonna go 4-0? No, I don't think they're gonna sweep the Spurs. I think that they're gonna go probably Knicks in 6. I think the Spurs are going to find 2 games. That was my prediction from the beginning. But hey, I also predicted the Spurs would win this game. So, hey, they're proving me wrong. The score was 105-104. Jalen Brunson, like I said, made a go-ahead bucket late in the game after things got really chippy, by the way. Fox and Brunson had a stare down. I don't know what Brunson's dad was doing there on the sideline, but man, it must feel good to have your dad out there screaming at the opposing players when they come up and try to front you. That was cute, man. That was cute. But Brunson, he can handle himself. And he did. Brunson Dynasty, welcome to the chat. Absolutely, man. I know Knicks fans are going crazy. Y'all already crazy, boring crazy, but I could only imagine what New York is like right now. Times Square is probably ready to be put on flames right now because I always said, what's worse, the Knicks winning or the Knicks losing? Because that city's gonna go crazy no matter what. But hey, I bet, man, courtside. New Yorkers, if you guys need a place to stay, don't come to Detroit. I bet y'all would have tried to take it over anyways if y'all putting us in the playoffs right now. So, nah, man, good stuff for New York. I think it's a good story for New York. I'm envious. I think that I wish we could have played y'all in the Eastern Conference Finals. I would have loved to see y'all try to do what you're doing to the Spurs, what you did to the Cavs, what you did to the Sixers. I would love to see y'all trying to do that against us because we had a little rivalry brewing over there. But hey, you guys probably have all the confidence, all the cockiness right now, and you deserve it. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the game. I kind of thought, it kind of looked like Wemby was going to be the hero of the game. Brought his team back. Y'all were up 14. The Knicks were up 14, I think, with about 6, 7 minutes left to go. And Wembanyama, you could see him on the sidelines. I was in a bunch of TikTok lives, just seeing how New York fans reacted, and they were cocky. Like it's over. We're going to San Antonio. They were saying, let's be humble," while they were also being extremely condescending. Laughing at Wemby. And Wemby did, have one good effort over there at the end. Him and his team defensively. And one can argue it's either destiny or these young guys really did mess up, because it was a tie game. Rebound came off to Wembanyama, and Wemby threw the ball out to Stephon Castle. And Stephon Castle, man, I know Wemby took the blame, but this is akin to J.R. Smith getting the rebound and then not knowing what to do with the ball with the game tie. And if you guys are NBA fans at all and have watched, finals games, um, it was embarrassing for the young man. He's gonna learn a lot from it, to always be aware. And I think Wemby did the right thing as the leader, the one who actually initiated the pass, the outlet, to take blame for that. But shout out to the Knicks. They wanted it more. Um, and I was gonna go down. Now they're going to Madison Square Garden. I think that's gonna be insane. Knicks fans, I don't know how you guys are gonna afford tickets. I don't know. I don't know who's gonna be at that game, because I hear things like $8,000 just to get in, and I bet after today it's gonna be even more expensive. You're gonna have to sell a car just to get into that game. So I can only imagine what the atmosphere is gonna be like. The celebrities are gonna be there, and I heard the celebrities get paid to go to those games, or to do promotions, to do things. I think at this point, people want to be there. Even the biggest celebrities, because you see Fat Joe over there, Timothy Chalamet. You see some of those guys. Um, so yeah, so I what a time to be a New Yorker. What a time. Again, I'm jealous. I really can't believe I'm saying it. I'm jealous. But we'll be back next year. Don't worry, we'll be back, and we're coming for you guys. We're coming for the Knicks, specifically the Knicks. Y'all have a target now. And it's not just the Detroit Pistons that are targeting y'all. It's the entire NBA. But you already know we had that beef. We had the beef, and not beef stew. But we had beef, and we're coming next year. We're coming. I wanted to go down the box score, talk about the game a little more in depth, because there were some surprising elements to the game. They just don't make sense, man. Wemby had an amazing second half, but a lot of other things did make sense. A lot of players did step up for the Knicks, and I wanted to highlight that, because, in my opinion, the Knicks were never gonna win with Brunson alone. Brunson is an awesome player. Great clutch player. The guy you probably want with the ball in your hands last second. But he's not going to beat the Spurs alone. So who did help him out? Who were the key players? Today I can't say Josh Hart. Last game I think Josh Hart came to play, even though he only scored 3 points. Josh Hart really didn't impress me much today. In fact, Shamet had a way better game, and I think having Shamet in the game helped a lot more than having a Josh Hart. The key to beating the Spurs is spacing and ball movement, and swinging, and man, they had the Spurs defense scrambling. None of that had to do with Josh Hart. Josh Hart, got his regular 6 rebounds, 4 assists, but he was in foul trouble most of the game, only played 18 minutes. So just wanted to get that out of the way. I think Josh Hart overall in this playoffs to the team is super important and impactful, but today wasn't much about him. OG Anunoby, man, what a dog. What a dog. I saw Anunoby take take Wembanyama one-on-one, baseline, get a dunk right over him, and that's not easy, y'all. But it's a testament to what Anunoby can do. I think we forget where Anunoby was before he became a Knick, before he took a backseat to Jalen Brunson, Cat to an extent, shared duties with Mikal on the wing. He really sacrificed a lot of his own game, but got to show it off a little there on that play. And then has his moments. He had a lot of moments here. But his calling card on this team, the reason why he's going to be known as a champion if they do win, is because of his defense. 2 steals, 2 blocks. And, it doesn't hurt to also hit some shots, 17 points. But he was also a -9. Now, let's get to the next guy, Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns, man. Karl-Anthony Towns. And before I go on, I just got to say, what up, though, Phoenix? Man, I think we were all right. The Knicks are probably going to win this series. Yup, and then I also wanted to say welcome to the chat to, I think I saw someone else in here. No, it's Phoenix, bro. Anunoby's huge. Josh Hart is due for a Magnets game, though he's due for one in game 3 or 4. It was the others today, bro. It was the others, and I think I'm dedicating this breakdown to just really magnifying the impact of the others in this series, in the playoffs. This is how you build a championship team. For anyone who's wondering, it's not about getting, selling farm and getting a guy. It's about getting, the guy that fits within the system, that will sacrifice within the system. You can go get a De'Aaron Fox and put him around a bunch of young guys and call him Unk. It's not gonna work. But exactly, you have to build a team. Phoenix said it. You have to build a team, and it starts with your point guard, and then your defense. If you have those 2 things, filling the rest out, it's not easy. Getting an Anunoby was not easy. Getting Mikal Bridges, they sacrificed a lot for that. But a good GM understands that those are your last pieces. Those are your, for Pistons fans, that's your Rasheed Wallace. You put together a team of a point guard, that can run the system, who can spread the ball around, Chauncey Billups style. Honestly, if anyone, Jalen Brunson reminds me of anyone, it is Chauncey. Knicks fans might think that's an insult, but man, he was my favorite player growing up. It still is, because he played the game right and just made everyone around him better and knew who to give the ball to, when to give it to them, how to manipulate the defense, knew how to read the defenses, and knew how to draw a foul when he needed to, especially in the clutch. If you don't think that's Jalen Brunson, I mean, that's exactly what the guy does. Besides hitting the big shots. Phoenix says a lot of opportunity came up, and they took advantage. Absolutely. I think the Spurs are young. The Spurs messed up a lot. The Spurs almost beat themselves. Hey, there's arguably Phoenix. He's not the Finals MVP. I think so far there are a lot of other guys that deserve it. He did have a great game 1, hit another clutch shot in game 2, so that'll go on his Finals resume. But there are a lot of other guys who really showed up. I'm telling you, Cat had 21, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. This is the one guy I thought who would choke, who would have a ton of turnovers, try to do too much with the ball, not know how to handle defending Wemby, getting in foul trouble. He did have 5 fouls, but the dude played 34 minutes, 8 for 12 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3. Didn't even get to the line much, which shows that he's not forcing the issue. He's taking what the game is giving him. If he can give you 13, 20, and 4 assists every game with a steal and a block, I mean, what else can you ask for? You go down the list. Mikal Bridges, 20 points, 8 for 13, 4 or 6 from 3, And if anyone wasn't watching the game, Mikal Bridges had like one of the best stretches in finals. Is going to go down as one of the best stretches in finals history because he willed his team to a lead that they eventually kind of let go. It's great to see you, man. Always a pleasure. And we just talk about the game, chopping it up. Really, man. Uh, it was not honestly not how I expected it to go down. Not how I expected it to go down. Yeah, Phoenix. This does make Chet look even more sorry. OKC, I think you can argue as a team can feel a little better about themselves. Um, but yeah, like imagine them playing against the Knicks. Now, granted, I believe that the Knicks wanted this matchup. I think that they match up well against the Spurs. The Spurs would eat up any other team, but the Knicks kind of were built to beat the Spurs. Or I guess the Spurs just don't have what it takes to kind of counter what the Knicks do offensively. Um, so I would say it makes Chet look a little more sorry, but I think OKC would have given him a little bit of a harder time. I think OKC would have actually beat the Knicks. Phoenix says, I'm gonna read some of these comments out real quick. This might be the easiest championship schedule for a team ever. I believe it, and then that's the narrative that we see. But you know how it's going to be. It's going to be the best championship run of all time. That's how they're going to write it out. They're going to make movies about it. It's New York. And we'll never hear the end of it. I'm just letting y'all know. We will never hear the end of it. And it's our job to make sure they don't see another championship for another 50, 60 years, right? They can have a good one every now and then, but they can make their movies and Hollywood can eat it up. Phoenix says what people are not going to like is that he's been clearly better than Vic the last 2 games. You know, it's even crazier. I thought the Knicks had a terrible whistle today and lost easily 3 or 4 positions of points off awful calls. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is clearly the best player in the world still. He had two or three of their best offensive players injured. Vic lucked out on that side. A couple things I agree, some not so much. I was watching the game and I'm like, man, the Spurs cannot buy a call that first half. I saw like De'Aaron Fox get pulled, kind of twirled around, no foul. Finally started calling them up until Devin Vassell got tripped on that fast break, and then they started actually calling fouls. And I was so surprised that Tony Brothers stepped to the mic and overturned that call and made it a flagrant, escalated it. I was just so surprised. But it was so egregious and so obvious that on national TV in the finals, they kind of had to. They had to. But you're right. I think towards the end, they just stopped calling everything, which was really frustrating. I think, and part of the agenda today I want to talk about was just officiating. Again, I know I sound like I'm just repeating myself, but the officiating has been so horrible these playoffs that I don't actually believe that the best team got a fair shot. I don't know. We can argue who that best team is. They might not be playing today, but I don't think that any of these teams are getting fair shots. They're just being very inconsistently called, and from half to half, quarter to quarter, play by play, it's crazy. Troy says this is an easy matchup. Spurs have Wemby, and that's it. And Wemby is still a young guy, and I'm talking in terms of star power. I think the Spurs have future stars. This is why I don't want to give up on a guy like Ron Holland for just Trey Murphy, because you don't know what your young guys have. You don't. You can see flashes, and you might be like, man, that's a dog. You see it in that in the Stephon Castle. We see it in Dylan Harper. But they have a lot of things they have to work on. The things that they're really good at, but a lot of things they have to work on if they want to take that extra level up. But I can also argue that there is no other superstar on the Knicks. It's Jalen Brunson and that's it. But there are upper echelon level players who are sacrificing their game to be, role players like Cat, like OG, like Mikal. So, I think the Spurs also don't know how to necessarily. They're very well coached, but for example, Dylan Harper doesn't know when to stop and when to start. Even Wembenyama doesn't know necessarily when to take over and when not to. Cade has run into similar issues from a Pistons perspective. When does he take over? When doesn't he? I think the Knicks got it figured out, and I think it helps that they played with each other in college. I think Cat was the last one that had to figure out when and how and what he should do. I think he's figured it out, and that's why we're seeing this version of the Knicks, especially against the Spurs. Troy says, refs have clearly dictated and controlled every outcome. Knicks barely shot any free throws the entire second half. Refs got them back in the game. And when I say that, I mean the Spurs. I agree, man. I agree. Cat been better. Troy says Cat, Mikal, and OG are all high-priced level star veterans. Phoenix says Cat is shooting 50, 40, and 100 splits in the playoffs, 70%. Troy says Spurs are all solid role players, no stars outside of Wemby. Not yet. Not yet. They're going to get there, but not yet. Dylan Harper, mark my words, is going to be a superstar. Stephon Castle, borderline. He's not. I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but he's got potential. He's got potential to be a star. An all-star, someone who makes the team, especially being on a good team like the Spurs. But I agree with you. I think they're just young, man. I really think they're young. They controlled the game for most of the game, but when things got hot, it looked like Wembanyama was tired today. When we were talking about Cade and we're like, did he give up? No, he didn't give up. It's just they get tired, bro. They get tired. They're not used to this grind in the NBA. And the Knicks been there, and they had such a great first three rounds. Right now, they're the team that isn't tired. The Spurs, you saw Wemby. He was crying like he won a championship. He hasn't been here before, and I think they really don't know what hit them right now in these first two games. Phoenix asks, you think they close in? What's your prediction? I think the Knicks have a very high chance of bringing out the brooms. You think they close in 4, 5, 6, 7? I think they close in 6. That was my prediction from the beginning. I know main event. He couldn't be here, but he was calling a gentleman sweep. I think they're going in 6 games. I think that the Spurs find out how to beat them twice, but I don't think that it goes further than that. Troy says I hate Brunson, but he's one of the most clutch players. Black magic, man. I don't know what he does in his off time, but there's some spiritual power that's helping him that we can't see, helping him in clutch time hit every single shot that needs to be hit, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter. And hey, granted, he's put a lot of work in his game. He's an underdog for real. A Cinderella story. Someone who shouldn't have made it was traded away because he shouldn't have been good enough, to star next to Luka. Came to New York, one of the hardest places to win, and became a star here. He is the guy here. I can't. He's the Jared Goff, that made it to the Super Bowl, and he's about to win it for him. How can you hate the guy right now? How could you? So if he wins it, man, good for him. Good for him. Good for his family. I don't know. I can't say anything negative about the guy at this point, other than the fact that he needs to stop flopping. Troy says Knicks in 5. You know what? I'm gonna put that as a poll up here so y'all can answer. Let's see what everybody thinks. it'll be a Knicks sweep. Knicks in 5. Knicks in 6. Or Spurs come back and win it. I couldn't put all the options out there, but if you guys do have another option that you do want to put out there, please put it in the chat. Like my man Troy thinks in 5. Phoenix says, I think most likely outcome is either a all-out sweep where they win both games at MSG, or they win it in 6. If they split 1-1 at MSG, I think the Spurs would win Game 5 if there is one. Troy says the team that would have gave the Knicks the best series and could have beat them was the Pistons. 100%. 100%. But I also think OKC could have beat the Knicks. I actually believe that. Troy says, yup, courtside, Cade and Asar neutralized Brunson when we played them. And Courtside says, I think it's Knicks in 5, but Knicks in 6 is very marketable and catchy. Yeah, it's a slogan they like to say. So please answer the poll, and let's see what the community thinks. Moving on. We got McBride. Oh well, let's not skip over Brunson. Brunson went 7 for 25. Not a great game. Just not a great game overall. So if anyone comes out here and says Brunson dominated, no, he didn't. He didn't dominate. He really didn't. In fact, he was hurting his team at times. Missed open threes in the clutch. And like I said, I was screaming, he's choking, and then he didn't. And so, but the guy did come to play still, even though he wasn't scoring like his normal self. Contributed with 6 assists, 5 steals, and then had one huge shot. People are gonna try to give him the credit for that steal at the end, but it was really an error by Wembanyama and Stephon Castle, a miscommunication. And I'm not going to give him, I mean, good for him for being aware and hitting his free throws, but he also missed one at the end, which could have been, the headlines could have been Brunson choked at the free throw line if he didn't hit that. People are going to forget that because they win, and winning, is like Men in Black. You forget all the bad because they won, and then if you lose, you forget all the good. You just remember the end. Brunson actually did choke at the free throw line. I think it's important that people do know that the truth when they do, hear the story of how the Knicks won today. It was more about the Spurs losing, in my opinion. But like Kat said, the reason why they won today is because they put themselves in a position by getting a really big lead. And they weren't playing bad in that stretch. But, man, psychologically, the win is going to do wonders for them moving forward. Because if they would have lost that game, that would have been akin to the Cleveland Cavaliers crumbling after being up 20-something in the fourth. And Miles McBride, he wasn't much of a contributor here. Got a 3-pointer. But he's just a guy you need to have on the bench. Comes off, does his thing when you need him. Landry Shamet, though. Landry Shamet is going to make a name for himself in the playoffs. He's one of those guys that you don't really know about during the season. But in the playoffs, where legends are made, the finals on ABC, Landry Shamet comes out and makes big plays, 13 big points, played 30 minutes. He's kind of the guy when Josh Hart is struggling. That's the guy they're going to. And, man, he really does well. I was thinking it's either him or McBride, but McBride is not as good defensively. So it just happens to be Landry Shamet who's showing up, balling. Mitchell Robinson, it's weird to see that he only plays 14 minutes because I feel like he was on the court more. Only played 14 minutes. had 3 rebounds. Honestly, he might not have really needed to play this playoff series, but he did have some good plays. A steal and a block. That's productive in 14 minutes. For the Spurs was gonna be Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is one of those guys where if he's hot, um, you're gonna see a really really productive and successful Knicks team. He came out hot, but it didn't last. It didn't last very long. Um, Champagny, he was kind of nowhere to be found today. 8 points, 2 of 5. Wembenyama had a great second half. First half really struggled. But ended the game 11 of 21, 2 of 6 from 3, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 4 blocks. Did his normal thing, but missed a really clutch shot at the end. And I think it could have been a better shot. Stephon Castle, 5 of 14. Really struggled offensively. But did have 4 assists, 4 rebounds, a steal. And defensively, when you're guarding Jalen Brunson for most of the game, I expect that you're gonna have a drop off in offense, and we're kind of seeing that with Stephon Castle. De'Aaron Fox had a good game, 8 of 12, 20 points, 5 assists, a steal. He did have 4 turnovers, but that's honestly, you're gonna have the ball in your hands. You're the point guard. He honestly, from De'Aaron Fox, we need to see this type of game more often. Where I think the Spurs need to be better is late game execution, and they're not getting a lot from their bench. It's really just Dylan Harper, and Dylan Harper's playing starter minutes. So what you're really getting is 4, 5, 6 guys playing well and everybody else not even showing up. By the end of the game, they're going to be tired, which we saw here. They're already coming off a Game 7. They're going to have to dig deep. The Spurs are going to have to dig deep to pull this series out, or even to at least tie it up. But as of now, I don't see how the Spurs do dig themselves out of here. I think they find a win. Maybe they steal one in Madison Square Garden, and maybe they come back to San Antonio down 3-1, get another one in San Antonio, and from there, it's game by game. But my prediction is 6 games, and they're out. I did want to read some of these comments, please, man. Yeah, they have to steal one or more. Honestly, they have to steal a couple just to gain that confidence. If they're able to do the equalizer and go into Madison Square Garden and kind of show up the Knicks, they blow the series wide open, and it's a series again, coming back to San Antonio, and the narrative is gonna be completely different. Coming back to San Antonio 3-1. It's still going to be pretty difficult. So if I'm the Spurs, game by game, claw your way back. Do not get discouraged if you lose another one here in Madison Square Garden, but take one. Steal one. Come back to San Antonio. Flex your muscle there. 3-2. You're going to have to win 3 in a row at that point. But, hey, your season depends on it. This championship depends on it. And if the Spurs do come into this with thinking, hey, we're playing with house money, you're gonna regret this. Wemby's gonna regret it. These players are gonna regret it. You were this close, but sometimes that's what makes us a champion, is feeling that pain, and remembering it. So what is the story gonna be? What is the legacy gonna be for Wemby and team and squad in 2026? I think that's what this is about. Is it gonna be their first heavyweight loss, their first heavyweight, getting knocked out, and then having to train, come back better, and never ever ever want to feel this again? Well, if my Pistons exist, and I know we're coming back stronger, I know they're gonna have a lot more competition next year. the Minnesota Timberwolves are trying to get big names like Kyrie to join at. So don't play with house money. Don't take it for granted like you're gonna be back here just easily next year. The Knicks kind of figured you out. That's what it looks like. So, um, I still think the Spurs are gonna have a great future. I still think Wemby's gonna be awesome. But hold your horses when trying to proclaim people the king. I think that's what we're learning from this is you got to put in the work. Jalen Brunson's put in the work. Cat has put in the work. Mikal Bridges was on some crappy teams for a very long time. OG Anunoby is the only guy, man, who really has only known winning. But even he had to go through it with Toronto. Um, Phoenix says, "Can we offer you Brandon Ingram?" Oh yeah, you up. I mean, what are you trying to get? What are you trying to get? If you offer us Brandon Ingram for a decent package, I'm willing to make that happen because I think we need a Brandon Ingram. I do know he's gonna have to change his mentality. He's gonna have to understand that Cade is him. I would rather take Scotty, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would rather take Scotty. Oh, Duncan, Stu, and a pick. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. I'll take Brandon Ingram. Stu, you're starting to get because you're giving us all offense, but Brandon Ingram is a bucket. So maybe. How much are y'all paying Brandon Ingram? I think I'd have to look at those numbers too because I think we're gonna end up having to pay Duran. And the math's got a math. But I'm gonna pull up Brandon Ingram right here. When you're condensing 3 players or 2 players into one, your depth kind of disappears. So let's see what he's getting paid. His salary is 38.1 mil. It's not bad, man. He's not bad. He's getting paid at that star level. Yeah. How old is he too? Let's see. He's 28. Fits the. You know what, man? You know what? I think there's discussions to be had there. But also I really worry about. We really need a score, a 2 guard that is offensive in some sort of way. And Duncan was that guy that we would throw in there. We do have Danis. Pistons fans chime in. Troy, I'm really interested what you think. Because I think Brandon Ingram would be a good pick, and I think it's not unreasonable what you're asking for. Stu, Duncan, and a pick. That's not unreasonable. Now let me ask you, why do you want to get rid of him? Oh, I want to reset the cap sheet around Scotty. I completely understand. I completely understand. And if we sign Duran, I think we can figure out if we can make that work because a lineup of Cade, Asar, Brandon Ingram, heck, bring back Tobias, bro. Bring back, that's fine with me. And then you got Duran. Man, that's not bad. But Brandon Ingram's just gonna have to buy into Detroit mentality, and I don't know if he's got that grit. He's only played for New Orleans, the Lakers. These are teams, and then Toronto. Y'all ain't all grit. Like y'all are very prolific offense. Defense. You've had some pretty good defensive teams, but it's not like gritty. It's more like fundamental defense, like. And it was really when you had Anunoby, when you had Siakam, when you had Kawhi, these long rangey guys. Yeah, you guys are more. You guys are definitely more pace. Squaring up, playing zones, playing man to man. You guys are prolific offensively. That's when you guys are at your best. Um, but we need a half court guy. We need a half court guy other than Cade. So I'll make the trade, bro. You know what? Let's change up the poll, man. That's a good one. By the way, poll was 40% Knicks, um, 40% Knicks in 5, and we still got some stragglers there, man, saying Spurs come back and win it. I like it, man. I like it. But ending the poll there for now. K Zombie, welcome to the chat. K Zombie says, I'm so depressed by both Spurs losses and I can't even enjoy the pay for play lady that I hired, and she's giving it her all trying to earn that money and Arby's coupon I threw in to be nice. If you want me to make you feel better, K Zombie, I'm extremely, extremely impressed with the Spurs young core. I think you guys are playing with house money. You really are. You guys have a couple of years with this core without even having to thinking about paying them. You guys have a coach who I'm thoroughly impressed with. You guys have Wemby. I mean, just that alone, you have a piece where if you had to blow it up and start again, you could. It's a franchise guy who loves San Antonio, loves the fan base, fits the culture. Um, you guys fell into such a great position after years of being great and then having those couple years where you had to tank, experience loss. I know you're sad, but there's a lot to look forward to. And you guys are in the finals right now. I'm sure you're down 2-0. Teams have done it before. And your team is young. Your team is up and coming. Your team has to take some hits. And others actually predicted that they would take their hits in the Western Conference Finals. They would take their hits in the second round before they got here. So they're way ahead of the curve. And they're gonna learn from this, whether they win or lose. So if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm not giving up hope. I'm cheering them harder next time. Shoot, can you afford a Knicks ticket? I think you guys need to go and invade Times Square. Um, I know that's hard. It's hard. Knicks fans find a way to do it. I have a mortgage and a family to take care of, and so me flying out to New York is not as simple. Uh, God knows what they do, but no, man, don't be sad. Be hopeful. Be hopeful, and I will say the only thing you should be sad about is that the Pistons are gonna be playing you guys in the finals soon, and so you gotta beat Cade, and you gotta beat God knows who's gonna be next to him because we need to figure out something. But hopefully, Asar is gonna be shooting threes better. He's gonna be, our secondary scorer along with another guy we bring, another prolific scorer, maybe a Brandon Ingram, and that's kind of the poll I'm gonna put up here real quick. Would y'all trade Stu and Duncan with a first for Brandon Ingram? That's definitely a good segue into the next part of our of the show. I wanted to talk about free agency a little bit more. K Zombie, I wanted to read off your comments. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Them boys over there in Detroit ain't no joke either. They can play some ball and they're exciting to watch. You already know, bro. Um, I'm all Pistons all the time. So, and I know you guys go hard for your guys. And I hate Big Shot Bob. Just want to let you know, worst Spur, my least favorite Spur in the world, just for the shot he hit. And I gotta say, Rasheed Wallace made me very disappointed by not defending that after I screamed at him through the screen to do it. But that will be a memory, a scar in my memory bank forever. Um, Phoenix says, if you were to pick a best in the world Who would it be right now? Phoenix, is that a player or are you talking about a team? You want to talk about best. I also don't think it's Luka because I'm not the kind of guy that like looks at stats and goes, "Yeah, you're the best player in the world." Um, he's a really good player. I think for me, I like to rank people in tiers because it's so hard for me to say this guy is above and beyond everyone else, unless it's definitive. Like Curry had those years. He was the best player in the league. I don't think he's that anymore. He's one of the best, still even at his older age, um, and slowed down a little bit, but he's not the best anymore. LeBron had a couple of those years, whether I liked them or not, but he was competing against some other guys like Kobe, so it was still very hard for me to say Kobe or LeBron. I know that was a discussion for a really long time, um, but right now, man, I look at guys like Jokic, and he's great, but his flaws are 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 so hard to overcome. They're so hard to overcome, which is why he's only won one championship. Even as dominating as he is, he doesn't. I think he's slow-footed, and defensively that really hurts your team if you don't have high productive defensive guys. And then when you do have those guys, you're sacrificing offense. So his assists don't look as great. They're not hitting as many threes. Um, so Jokic is up there. Um, yeah, man. Not a lot of people have been impressing me. Brunson's in the conversation, bro. Brunson is in the conversation. You have a lot of up and comers. You have the Ants. You have the Cades. Um, you have Wemby. I'm not ready to crown him the best in the world yet, but the dude has high potential there. If things go my way, it's gonna be Cade. If things go my way, he's gonna be a guy that you can put multiple rosters around and he can make them compete for championships. Because he plays defense, he's two way. You got guys like Jalen Brown, very underrated. Jason Tatum got injured, so I don't even want to discuss him right now. And when he came back, he just wasn't himself yet. You still got Kyrie, and I'll say on one leg, Kyrie is better than 95% of the entire NBA. Yeah, I think I named everybody, man. I don't know who takes the crown. I don't know who takes the crown. Who do you got? Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that argument before about Kyrie not being a 1A in the playoffs. That to me is more impressive. For like that is a testament of how much his ego is actually not a obstacle to winning. So I think that's a positive. I don't think he's had to be. So he's when he's had to take a 1B. I mean, you don't want to call him a 1A. He was a 1B next to LeBron. He hit game-winning shots. He had the ball in his hands when the clock was ticking. So you don't want to call him a 1A. He's a 1B, a 1A2. 1A junior, whatever you want to call it. He was still the guy. And I think that revisionists really try to erase his impact on that championship. There's no championship without Kyrie. What is LeBron if he never leaves Cleveland? Because does that make him not great? Um, that's a real question. That's a hypothetical. What is LeBron if he stays in Cleveland and just devours the salary there and the cap space, and they're not able to build a team around him, and he does play the loyal route? I don't think he wins, man. I don't think he ever wins. Maybe he does. I don't think he does. Not in the Steph Curry years. He was going. There was still a lot of great teams that built around multiple stars, and LeBron had a really hard time being able to. I think he had to get out. Now that when I was younger, I was like, oh man, what this guy just left his team and abandoned them. He didn't do that. I actually think LeBron played it smart. He realized, look, if I stay on this team, we're never winning. It's similar to Giannis making comments about going to Miami right now. He wants to know who they're trading for him. Because he's like, what's the point of going to Miami if they trade the whole house for me? And then I'm getting paid so much that they can never build around me. And then we're not competing. LeBron left, let them build, let them get a Kyrie, let them get a couple of these guys, and then came back. So, and he came back on a friendly deal, like a year or two the contract. So, and he got him a championship, his home state, I guess. So, I don't think that we could talk about those hypotheticals, but the fact of the matter is, Kyrie was a 1A, 1B, whatever you want to call it, on a championship team. He was a 1A, 1B on a finals team with Luka. The Celtics tenure was not great, and that kind of that really muddies his career. But Kyrie as a player, put him next to a Cade, man. Man, you talk about 1B, let him be a 1B, bro. It's fine with me. Let him be that. It's cool. Take Milwaukee in 2019. He got swept. The moment Kyrie left Boston, they went into real contention. How even when he got injured, a rookie Tatum outplayed him. No, he would win one at least. But yeah, I think multiple titles under Cleveland is not possible. We can be realistic. Being a really good second option isn't a bad thing, by the way. Like I said, I just don't know. I don't know. I can't speak hypothetically because the way his career went, yeah, he never really he wasn't able to do it in with the Celtics. But Celtics Kyrie wasn't a scrub, by any means. That place is hard to play in. Look at JB and Tatum; they were being crucified before they won. People wanted them out of town. So like New York, it's not an easy place to play. And Kyrie is one of those guys where if he doesn't feel valued, he's gonna leave. KD is another guy like that. I'll value him in Detroit. Bring him here, Masai. In Dallas. Like if you're hearing this, if you're watching, we love Kyrie here. You could send him here if y'all don't want him for any reason. And I'll give up 2-3 draft picks. But I just need assurances. Like I'd want to extend him, and I think he'd be a great vet next to Cade too. Even though Cade is a vet in his own right, to be honest, since he was a rookie, really. Phoenix says, I just think that when we talk 1B, I think of someone like 2020 AD, who's genuinely a top 3 player in the world and was just worse than LeBron, who was the best in 2020. I mean, you make a good point, but what was AD before he was he taking any team to the finals? No, he wasn't. And he was amazing, man, but his Pelicans were not great. So does that make him any less than a top 3 player in the world? No. In my opinion, AD was awesome. AD burnt us so many times. I think he scored 60 against the Pistons. Probably had like 6 blocks too, and AD was an amazing player. Does him being a 1B on a championship team doesn't make him not a top 3 player. Magic Johnson and Kareem, we're together. Kobe and Shaq, we're together. Were both of them 1A? No. But does that mean that they were not Hall of Famers, legends? Yeah, they absolutely were. And I think Kyrie is getting this sort of treatment, like it's revisionist treatment. Like I don't know why, but people just want to say they want to act like he's a little bit of a scrub, and he doesn't get the accolades that a lot of the other guys get. Like All NBA, he doesn't get the same first team All NBA accolades that everyone else does. He's struggled with some injuries. He's had bad breakups with teams. Maybe that's it. So I don't know what it is, but when I watch the guy, when you look at his stats, when you look at his resume, he's won a championship. He's gotten pretty darn close to another one. There's a lot of extra hate there for I don't know. I don't know what reason it is, but I'm not a guy that's gonna hate on him. I welcome him with open arms to our team, and I think next to Cade, you'll see the best version of Kyrie. I was one of my arguments for Kyrie was that next to Luka, for example, even next to LeBron, they're not going to accentuate Kyrie's game. They're going to almost minimize it because of how big they play. But next to a Cade, they would accentuate each other's games. It's like Cade will accentuate Kyrie's game. So I think because Cade is for a superstar that has a nice package and is a smooth operator, he defers a lot, and rightfully so. He understands when double teams are coming. He doesn't try to play through them as often as other players do. He still attracts those double teams, still attracts those triple teams and all that attention. So putting a Kyrie next to a Cade, who is more Magic Johnson, more Jokic than he is Kobe, more or even Luka. Like people want to compare Cade to Luka. Luka passes the ball with the intent of scoring first. Cade looks at the play. Like if you were to compare the differences between the two, Cade looks at the play, kind of sees what the defense is, reads the defense like a quarterback, and says, "All right, if I make this move, this guy's gonna be open. He can swing it. He's a point guard. He's a floor general." Whereas Luka is a playmaker, and that's the complete difference there. So if you put a floor general with Cade's ability next to a Kyrie who is a playmaker, man, I think you're going to see less redundancy than you did in Dallas, or closer to what you saw with LeBron. But I think Cade actually is a true, people want to argue this. I think Cade is a true point guard, true floor general. Where LeBron is I don't know, he's a unicorn. Like he's got his own little position and role on a team. LeBron is GM and coach, playing as small forward with the ball in his hands most of the time. Like that's LeBron. I don't know how to explain that any other way. Paul George, pretty game. He's got playoff history where he's never been part of a real good team. He just hasn't. Does that mean that it's his fault? I can't see why. Because the dude tries on defense. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's all the load management. He's not able to build chemistry with his teammates. I actually cannot tell you. But if you put Paul George and Kawhi on a team, then they can't make anything happen. I don't know, man. I'll be afraid of trying to grab Paul George in that scenario. He said the 2021 Clippers could have got there. Kawhi ACL was misfortune. Agreed, bro. Something with the Clippers and ACLs. Something with them and injuries, man. And they still got to the Western Conference Finals, 6 games. Yep, they were shoot. Even when they had Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, something about the Clippers, bro. I believe maybe they are cursed, man. Maybe they are cursed. I believe it. Like I said, I'm a Lions fan. Maybe they are cursed. All right. Just wanted to look at the agenda because I did have a couple more things we wanted to talk about. By the way, please keep the conversations in the chat. I love it. Do you guys think that Wemby is going to play well at Madison Square Garden? I think the environment there is going to be insane. But I also know that's where stars shine. But this iteration of the Knicks scares me. Like they play well at home. They're not the team that stars come in and just trample. So in my opinion, I think exactly what you just said, Phoenix, Sonio. So I think it's gonna put a little fire under them. But I think the Knicks lose Game 3. I think Wemby has a pretty nice game in Game 3. I think it gets the media talking. Um, yeah, Troy. I think so too, man. Listen, this is it with the sweep. The Spurs are not bad enough to get swept. It's just I don't. You can say the Knicks are good enough, but the Spurs are just not bad enough to get swept. It's just not gonna happen. We saw it today. They should have won. We saw it, even last game, Game 1. They probably should have won. Um, I think they win a game, man. They're not gonna get swept. And if they do, I'm gonna still come up here, bro. Conference. Listen, Phoenix, I want you to come up here with Troy, and we could really have a conversation here face to face. I get to meet you that way, and we'll talk more about this sweep, bro. I really don't think it's gonna happen. I said the same thing with the Cavs. I said the same thing, So I don't know if it's gonna be a sweep or not, but I can't imagine. I can't imagine that this Spurs team are just gonna get swept in the finals after beating OKC in 7 games. I can't see it. Hey, we heard it here first. I know all Knicks fans are talking about that. So you're not the first, and you're not the only one saying Knicks in 4. Um, I just think it's crazy. I just think that would be crazy. So I'm predicting Game 3 Spurs win. Game 4 Knicks win. Game 5 Spurs win. And then Game 6 the Knicks take it in New York, so that New York can be burnt down and then built back up into New Brunson. that's gonna be the fairy tale story. There will be no more New York. It will be called New Brunson from here on out. Um, Troy says, or first, Phoenix says, ask Philly and Cleveland how they felt close games and then 2-3 games getting blown out. It's not gonna happen the same way. There's no way. Troy says they're both good, but Knicks are closers in crunch time. That's the difference. Phoenix says I just don't. Those kids are going to be able to take the pressure at MSG. I assume he's meant they don't. You don't think those kids are going to be able to take the pressure at MSG? The lights are bright. Our Pistons had to play there, for their first series together. So you may be right, but Wemby was born for this, man. Right? Is born for it. They have a good coach. Let's see, man. Let's see. I just don't think it's gonna be in 4. Yeah, man. I really wanted to see the Pistons against the Knicks this year. So let's talk about what San Antonio must fix, because I think they played a pretty good game. Number one, they need to get Wembanyama involved earlier. This is not, I think they really need to put pressure at the rim to get guys like Cat in foul trouble, to really spread out the floor so that their 3-point shooters can have open space in the second half to operate, and they need to get out on the run more. Especially, you saw the Spurs with urgency when they were down 14 with 6 minutes left. What made that happen? And they need to capture that. And they need to not only, because they start games off pretty well. The Spurs always start games off really, really well. I think they had like a record of like 20 or 18-0 against OKC or something like that. They start the games off really well, but they can't contain that energy. And it's oftentimes met with Wemby leaving and going and sitting on the bench. Cornette has been how can I say this nicely, a disappointment for the most part in this series. So why not move on to like Olynyk? Where was Carter Bryant? I don't know. These are questions I have. It's not that they played a horrible game. They almost won. They held the Knicks to 105. Brunson had a horrible game. They had Cat scored 20. Mikal scored 20. What else? Like you played the game to win it, and you just couldn't close the game out. So I think Wemby has to become Wemby a little bit closer than the last 6 minutes. They gotta bury the Knicks early on and not let the Knicks just flirt around. It's getting close to that time where what are you really resting them for? What are you resting them for? It might be the last 2 games of your season. What are you resting them for? So that urgency really needs to pop off the screen for the Spurs. And if you're not gonna get it in game 3, call it a sweep, bro. If they lose game 3, call it a sweep. Phoenix, I'll see you, my brother. Have a good night. Um, Troy says Spurs need to have better plays at the end of the game, better coaching and execution late in the game. Totally with you. Texas Zombie says Spurs also need our bench to hang tough when Wemby's off the floor. They can't hold the lead long enough for Wemby and the starters to catch a breather, which is so weird. I mean, it's not weird, but that says a lot. You got you can't you got the Spurs cannot win championships. If we want to talk about an empire with Wemby, you can't win championships with that sort of discrepancy with Wemby being off the floor. At least maintain the lead, but you can't lose the lead. You can't be leaking points. That's bad coaching. That's bad roster structuring. And you guys are, by the way, not even close to a finished product. As much as you guys think that this is finals or bust for some reason, you guys are not anywhere near a final product. This is almost like an experimental year with a vet here and there, Harrison Barnes. You got De'Aaron Fox at point, which I think actually almost hurts your team a little bit. De'Aaron Fox is a great player, but I just don't see the fit with the Spurs, especially with the young guys, especially with Dylan Harper developing a little. And one thing Dylan Harper needs to really do is study the game, because he's got all the physical attributes, the skills, the dribbling packages, the shot, but I just think that he can play smarter. And he's a rookie, so that's not an insult, but he could play a lot smarter. And he can learn the game, become a student of the game, and not just an athletic talent or someone who's skilled, because skill can only take you so far if you can't read the defense, if you can't. I saw Dylan Harper get so hesitant towards the end of that game, and I was wondering why. Like, there were fast break opportunities where he could have taken it, but he was deferring. And the defense wasn't there like he could have. The defense wasn't set. Those were the opportunities that the Spurs normally excel at, and he just wasn't reading it right. And then there's other times where he, with his skills and with his skill set and his talent, was forcing it and would get fouled or would hit the layup, but just such tough shots. So I think he's gonna be able to learn the game better, and then you're gonna see a superstar level talent develop out of Dylan Harper. It might not happen. It most likely won't happen in this series. It may be because of this series, and maybe the pain of losing this series might send him into an off season where he has to learn how to be. Because I think Dylan Harper is your point guard of the future, not Stephon Castle. I think Stephon Castle's a great energy guy, guard, secondary ball handler, someone to help the point guard bring the ball up the court, set the play up, the guy you hand the ball off at the top of the key to make another movement, but not your point guard, Texas says spot on with that one. I forget that they're not a fully assembled group. Terrific observation. You're a basketball brother. Hey, man, that's all I do is I breathe basketball. I eat basketball. Dude, subscribe. You're welcome to come to on the podcast whenever you like. We are Detroit fans here, but we talk ball no matter what. And we'll bring you up, especially with the Spurs playing in the playoffs. If you do want to come up here, say your piece as a Spurs fan, I'll bring you up here. So, yeah, please subscribe. And this is for everyone in the chat. Subscribe. like or dislike the video, whatever either one helps the algorithm. And we're just trying to bring good basketball talks out into the YouTube world because not everyone has an opportunity to say what they want to say. And then TikTok is crazy. So if you guys do want to come up on here, please let me know. I'll send a link over. Troy, you already know the deal. I miss you, man. Let me know if you ever want to jump on. Thank you, thank you. Uh, Troy says Spurs are ahead of schedule already being in the finals. Yeah, I mean the Spurs and the Pistons just going from where they were to second seed and first seed in their respective conferences, and y'all beat your first seed. Like so you could I know why you're sad, dude. I totally understand. And you might look back at this season like if only. And who knows? Maybe Wemby figures it out. Maybe Dylan Harper does figure it out in these next couple games and through the fire and through. But they're young, man. They're really young. Wemby getting finals experience is gonna make him better even faster. I'm, and I don't know if it's gonna be a good thing, but I think he puts on a little bit of muscle, especially after going up against Cat and Mitchell Robinson. I think he puts on just a little bit more muscle because he's getting bullied over down there, and I just don't know what the fix is for that because he's already 7'4". He already can shoot over those guys. His ball handles are already better than some guards, in the league. Some really high level skilled guards. He has a step back. Some guards at his age don't have that. So Wemby's a talent, man. Wemby's a talent. And then you guys got really spoiled with Dylan Harper. And Stephon Castle won Rookie of the Year. So you've got every reason to still be happy and hopeful that your team is gonna be one of those teams for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I'll give you until you guys have to you guys have to pay the guys. But knowing the Spurs, you always find a way to do it, and the guys don't want to leave. So who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe you'll find another Kawhi while you still have a Wemby. Because the Spurs do stuff like that. And so I think what I wanted to talk about too a little bit, while I think we have another 10, 15 minutes in the show, was really what is Cade looking at these finals. It's given us an idea because y'all, we're gonna have to play these Knicks next year. I'm not afraid of them. I wish we got to play them this year. In fact, I every time I look at them play, I'm like, man, Asar would have ate that up. Stu would have stopped that. Duran would have had easy time down low because what Cat is doing to Wemby, he can't do it to Duran. Honestly, I wish we would have played the Knicks first round again. I wish we would have. The whole playoff scenarios would have been completely different. Cavs were one of my bigger worries because I know they have James Flopper Harden on the team and Donovan Mitchell. So for me, I knew the Cavs were going to be a hard matchup. I was so worried about Orlando Magic because they're such a wild card, young team that plays defense. And really, man, they're another up-and-coming team in the East that we're going to have to worry about because they got a mini LeBron on their team in Paulo Banchero. I still think we have the better team, the better guys, but Franz Wagner, hate the guy, but he can shoot the lights out of the ball and has a pretty good downhill game. So, I could see, I know why Duran struggled against bigger centers, but against Cat, he would have had his way. And even these wings, they really struggle with good defenders like Asar, like Ron Holland. I think we would have seen a lot more of Ron Holland. Ron Holland was actually a big reason why we beat those Knicks during the season. So I think we had the algorithm. I think we had the equation to beat a Knicks team, but we certainly, I think, would have struggled against the Spurs. So, what does Cade need? What do the Pistons need? How do we get there? One of the polls was, would you take a Brandon Ingram? Is that who we need? Um, what do y'all think? Please drop it in the chat. If you do think that you've got what exactly we need, for me, I think it's a multifaceted answer, and it depends on what we do with Duren. I've been really going back and forth, seeing some of these like Jalen Brown trade rumors with Portland, and the things that they want to give up to get Jalen Brown. It doesn't make sense to me why we can't go after him. If they're really like, we have equivalent pieces to go after guys like that, and Jalen Brown would be so much better with a Cade than like a Denny Avdia. It would just be light years different. And then if you are able to keep an Asar and have a Brown and a Cade, man, that just like, who cares not who cares who the center is, but if you get 70 or 60% of the production that Jalen Duren gives you, you're doing really well there. Like, just at least the screens, the decent defense that he gives you, and then even if they're only scoring 10 points a game, so what? That's what Duren gave you in the playoffs. So, with Troy, you say too much defense. We were relying on Cade for all of our offensive production. We need more offense. Tobias Harris is not a number 2 option. I agree with you. That's why Jalen Brown is like hitting my head so hard, and I cannot, because I also don't want to give up defense for a Brandon Ingram and then have that issue. Like, I'm not giving up Asar in the trade package for example, Brandon Ingram. That's why I asked Phoenix, like, what do you want? And when he said Stu, yeah, that's defense, but it's defense coming off the bench, which we need. It's rim protection, which we need. But then, man, that number 21 pick, what are we doing with it? Are we moving up? If we're not moving up and you got that number 21 pick, let's look at the big men that we can draft. Can we draft a productive center who is going to give our guys that hardworking, going to work, guy that sets screens, eats rebounds, puts back the garbage shots? Can we draft that guy at 21, and then stop being so worried about giving up Duren or Stu, one of those centers, for a big name like Jalen Brown? Because I want to start, being sharks a little bit in the front office. We're so lackadaisical when it comes to either the free agency market or in trades. So I almost want to throw some names at these folks, because why can the Trailblazers throw Scoot Henderson, player? Texas Zombie says, with the scandal the Clippers are going through at the moment, and the Clippers probably wanting to trade Kawhi, possibly would Detroit take him? If he clears the scandal, I would take him, depending on, I really want a young guy too, because I know they're gonna want Duren. So if you want Duren, because they need a center really with their other young pieces, I prefer to take a Benedict Mathurin, just so you know. So I would almost like say I want Kawhi and Benedict Mathurin and see what they're offering, and then flip the trade and say, okay, forget Kawhi right now. What do you want for Benedict Mathurin? And I'd rather get a young guy with two-way potential. Kawhi's nice, but Kawhi is going to be nice for about a year or two. And God knows, man, a scandal could pop up tomorrow. A knee problem could pop up. A back problem can pop up. And then what? We traded away someone for nothing. Or a couple pieces for nothing, or draft picks for nothing. And I just don't want to I don't want to get bit like that. I'm sure Trajan is not going to fall for something like that and is going to do his due diligence, because he doesn't have a lot of time with Cade. he's I think when you have a Cade Cunningham, you've got to bring the pieces now. So it's yes, Asar can become a JB. I believe it. Is it going to happen in a season? No. JB took about 4 or 5 seasons to become who he is. And then he had to go a whole season by himself to really become the JB we saw this season. So I don't want to I don't think we can wait forever for um for a JB to just pop up out of nowhere, or go and roll the dice on someone who's on the bench that needs a bigger role, like Jalen Brunson, maybe Ayo Desanmu. I know that I'm not gonna compare the two. I don't think he's gonna become a Jalen Brunson, but the dude did have a 40-point game in the playoffs. Plays good defense. I know we asked about him before. Let's go for a guy like that if it's a little bit cheaper. He's a younger guy. But let's roll the dice. They paid a lot for their guy. I know we did it before with Reggie Jackson, but we didn't have a Cade. So maybe we go for an AO. I know people want Norman Powell. Depends on the price, because I think Norman Powell is closer to his ceiling than a lot of those other guys. So you know what you're getting in Norman. You're getting a really good player, but you're also only getting Norman Powell. And the ceiling is known. He's a nice 3-and-D player. He's tough, can drive to the basket, play good defense, but he's not some star. And he'll give you 20 points in a season. I don't think he's gonna magically start averaging 25 to 30 points, making clutch shots in the playoff games at the end. I still think if you could go for a bigger name and give up a little bit more without giving up your core, go for it. Troy says, no more being patient and assessing what we have. We need star power now. We need Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, let the Heat reduce his value before we go grab him. They're slowly kind of mismanaging the situation. I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Hero asks to leave, to be honest, straight up. They're looking like they want. Let's go for, man. You think they'll give us Bam after scoring 83 in a season? Because if we can give them a Duran, we can give them a couple other pieces, give them some first round picks so they can rebuild. Do you think they'll ship Bam Adebayo? Because if we can get a Bam, our problems in the finals would have been resolved. In the playoffs, I think we would have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. We'd be in the finals right now, maybe, because we would have just destroyed the Knicks. But if we can get a Bam Adebayo or Jaren Jackson Jr., a little bit, not as good as Bam, but similar player, defensive player of the year, former defensive player of the year. If we can get those guys, I will say bye to Duran easily and throw in some other pieces, because you're getting defense plus offense. And you're getting it at that premium position, at the center position. So Tyler Hero solves your shooting problems, but he, in a way, can look like an overglorified Duncan Robinson. He'll definitely be a nice second to Cade and be able to score off of that switch. I don't know if he's necessarily a good playmaker in terms of like reading defenses and being able to play off of action, but he can score, and I know he's clutch. He's been a Pistons killer in the past, so I wouldn't mind having Tyler Hero on the team. Man, I still wanna just let him, throw some more picks at them and just be like, listen, just give us Bam. You're not gonna win in the next couple years. Give us Bam. Maybe when he becomes a free agent, he'll come back. But just give us Bam as a rental for the next 3 years, man. Or like I said, Jared Jackson Jr. I know that he was traded to. Where is he right now? Where did he get traded to? Was it Washington? He's with the Jazz, man. I don't know. I think they want to build around. They want to build around Keontae George and putting some defense. But if the Jazz have Walker Kessler and Jaren Jackson, can we grab one of those guys? Um, I would love to have either one of them. Bro, honestly, just looking at their roster now, the Jazz are gonna be pretty good, and they have a pretty high draft pick, don't they? Utah Jazz draft. They hold the second overall draft pick, and they have Lauri Markkanen. Yo, these guys are gonna have to give up some assets soon. Um, Even though Hero and Reeves they do give you what you need next to Cade offensively. They just you have to make sure you have a star on the team still. Like you're not giving up a star for them. That's the only thing. And then if you are giving up Duran, you just have to make sure you draft a defensive-minded center. Um, I don't know how it'll look. Chemistry still does matter, but that's kind of why I do want to go after, man, one of these centers that they have. Like, you think they're gonna be able to have a team of Keontae George, Jaren Jackson Jr., Lauri Markkanen, and Walker Kessler? How long are they gonna be able to keep all of them on the same team? At some point, they're gonna have to pay them all, and I think they are. It's coming very soon, and then they're gonna get the number 2 draft pick, which they're probably gonna take a point guard or a shooting guard with that pick. Dude, I'm scared of the Jazz, the Wizards. Similar situation there, but they have just a more aging AD. But dude, they've got a squad. They've got a squad, depending on who they draft. So maybe we talk to them, bro. Maybe we talk to the Jazz and say and make a trade. I know Lauri Markkanen was the guy that they want to give up, but I'm more interested in one of their big men because then a Stu becomes way more expendable. Duran becomes way more expendable. Um, I we're starting to talk about upgrading our big man position without actually giving up um, the entire position without a solution for it. And you're getting scoring. Like realistically, y'all, realistically, if we had the same exact team but a center that can score in the playoffs, I think we beat these teams. That's it. That's all we need. Especially if the center can shoot, or the center can get rebounds, at the very least. Like Duran was being bullied to the point where he was actually he was a negative on the floor, which is what hurt us. But I know we're looking at getting a second scorer for Cade. But what if that scorer is not Duran, but it is his position? It is a guy like um, Jaren Jackson. I wish it was Bam, but yeah, I agree with you. I don't think we're gonna be able to trade for a Bam Adebayo, but a Jaren Jackson Jr. And if not, then you look at a Walker Kessler, um, because defensively he brings, and rebounding wise he brings, even with his screens, like his game is really good at the center position, and he may come cheaper than a Duran for the future. And then you go and either in free agency sign a McCollum, and then you call it a season there. You go into the season like that. You have to make trades down the line. I know it doesn't sound flashy when you put it like that, but you could go that route too. Either way, lot of options for these Pistons. But it is getting to that hour and 40-minute mark where I usually like to wrap it up. Thank y'all for joining. Please, if you didn't already, subscribe. I love talking to you guys, seeing you guys in the chat. Again, give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you feel. And then definitely comment on the video. I did add a couple questions here in the chat for y'all to answer, but feel free to comment. And I'll see you guys soon. I'll be on probably tomorrow with my man Main Event, talking more, Game 2 review and then also Game 3 preview. So I'll see you guys, man. Troy, thank you so much as always. Texas Zombie, you're one of us now. We're a bunch of different fans over here, but you're one of us. So I'll see you guys soon. Signing out. This is Ball Don't Lie Detroit, and I'm yours truly, 313 Sports Guru. Stick by, listen to our song. It's your favorite song, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace out.
Detroit already know what time it is. No soft tape. No fake love. Run the tape. Ball don't lie. Smooth operator, Cade calm with the handle. Fourth quarter cold, he light up the candle. City on 10 when he shift that angle. One wrong step, now the defense is shambles. Stop sign, unsaw, red light on wings. Clamps too tight, he control everything. Number 9 lurking, no room for the swing. You thought you had space, now you stuck in the ring. Beef stew in the mud, bringing heat to the glass. Talk too light, better move with some class. Jalen Brunson at the rim, got the paint on tax. Come down that lane, better know where you at. Ryan Hall and hungry, young wolf with bite. Detroit don't race off, we race fight. Bad whistle blow, still standing upright. LCI shake when the boys get right. From the Coney to the group chat, everybody got a tag. From the cheap seats to the live stream, everybody wide awake. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. 313, better pick your side. No soft takes, no fake pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. When it's chaos, I'm on raw routes, first downs pay off. John me again, Sonic gone when he take off. Blink one time, now the whole roof came off. Hunch off the edge, that pocket get haunted. Quarterback nervous, now the drive getting stalled up. Money stayed well, Stonewall, nobody falling. Jama over top, hit a whole crowd calling. Kirby in the back, bad throws get taken. Ford field loud, whole city start shaking. Fourth quarter pressure, everybody awakened. Detroit been patient, now the league gotta face it. We sat through the jokes, we sat through the pain. Still watercolor, still screamed in the rain. Now they wanna talk like they knew the name, but we was in the mud when they laughed at the game. Woodward lights, 94 traffic, still tuned in, still talking magic. Win or lose, we don't disappear. Detroit sports, we bleed in here. Ball don't lie, tape don't lie. Scoreboard cold and the streets gon' ride. Real fans talk, fake fans hide. 313, better pick your side. No soft takes, no fake pride. Detroit sports, look alive. Ball don't lie, truth gon' show. Run that back, let the whole world know. Don't bring lazy takes in here.